Yeah, so far this preseason, it's been a little bit different. We have not scrimmaged in a couple of years before our first regular season opener, and so we've had a couple scrimmages the last 2 weeks. That's been really helpful, I think. Last year, it felt like it took us 2 to 3 quarters to sort of sort out the game plan and what an opponent felt like and what the moment felt like. So it's really, I hope that we've been able to kind of solidify what we want to feel like on a game day, I guess. It's more of a feel thing than an actual tactical thing. I wouldn't say like we looked great in the scrimmages per se, but just to work through some of the chemistry pieces and the flow that we want to have as a team and just the overall mindset and stuff. That's been really helpful, so I'm excited about that. We have the biggest team we've ever had. We have 45 guys. I think total we have 8 transfers on the team, some of them new this year, some of them that are still, they're in their second or their third year, along with 9 freshmen. So just getting everything right, I think. We're excited about the talent we have, but and even as coaches, just learning. 45 is not an abnormally large lacrosse roster, but for us it's new, and so just getting back to kind of managing and understanding like roles and maximizing guys' ability and putting them in the right places. So far, I think it's been great. No major like headaches, but certainly a little bit of a learning curve, and I like the start that we're off to so far. Yeah, the leadership this year has kind of come from 2 places. I would say one, obviously always the captains. You got Matt Blythe, Zach Hogan, Danny Stone, and Mac Faircloth as a junior captain for us is a pretty big deal. They've done an excellent job, I think, understanding the culture. All those guys have been here for a long time. They're really, we talk about being above reproach as a leader. Like those are guys that really, they live a lifestyle that is indicative of what we want a Grove City lacrosse man to look like, and so then they're able to hold other guys accountable. So I think they've done an excellent job of just kind of understanding what we want, being good at communicating. And then this year, this is only the second time ever really that we've had a multiple fifth-year seniors, so Danny's in that category. We have some fifth-year transfers and some guys that have been around a little bit longer. So the fifth years, even when they're new, Noah Goad is a guy that comes to mind. This is his first year with us, but he's just been around, and his poise and his sense of confidence and all of that. I think guys kind of can look at, is there somebody that feels like, hey, I'm good, so you can be good too. It's almost like just that, again, it's sort of like the preseason thing. It's not necessarily a tangible thing. It's more of a feel, kind of what we want to look like and be like, and just the tone and the emotion that they set as older guys, and just their poise and calm. And I think when you're 50 or 2, you almost have this sense of like, I wasn't planning on this, and so this is like a bonus. And so the joy that comes from it, and just the ability to just kind of have fun with everything. Like I really shouldn't even be here, and I've got this extra opportunity, and so I'm going to make the most of it. I think that's something that guys can look at and, hey, me too. I want to have that same attitude. Yeah, I think strengths of our program have just always been that our guys, like, they're going to compete, regardless of the situation, whether we've got guys out, whether we're undermanned. I think of, like, playing Cabrini in the NCAA tournament. I think we had 22 players healthy for the game during the COVID year. And they, we're tied at halftime. Like, they are going to give you everything they've got. Their word for the year is tenacious. I think that's something that they are, like, they really live out. And so I'm always proud to coach here, because I just feel like that's not always the case, like where you have guys that just, no matter the situation, are going to give you everything, as a coach, but really more importantly for each other. And I think they've continued to do a good job there. I think, as we continue to go forward here, the biggest question that has to get answered, maybe 2 things. One for us is the chemistry, again, like new guys and a consistent senior class, but some new talent around them. So how do those guys get, it's not a matter necessarily we tell those guys of proving themselves. It's about, we already believe in you, that's why we brought you here, but it's just figuring out your teammates and how you fit in what we do. So we have to learn your strengths and weaknesses, and you've got to learn your teammates what they can do. So we're trying to, still ironing out some chemistry stuff. And then on a more global scale for the program, it's really, what does it look like to be a top 10 or a top 5 program? Last year we were 15-4 in the regular season, and we only really lost to the top 5 and another top 20 team. So what does it look like to be that? I wouldn't say we represented ourselves great in those games last year. Certainly those teams were talented, and I'm not saying we should have won even, but I don't think we deserve to for it to go as poorly as it did. And so it's just about what does it look like in the first 5 minutes of a game? When you're a top 5 team, how do you assert your game plan and your will on another team? How do you play with that confidence? Can we get past the point of being this kind of like fun, plucky upstart that like, hey, it was cool, you kept it close, to like, no, we believe, we can see it in our mind's eye, like we're going to win this game. And we see how we're going to do it, we see what it's going to feel like, and we're not trying to kind of figure out like where do we fall in the world of college lacrosse in Division III. Like, we believe that we're here, we believe that we've arrived, we believe that we are fully capable and deserve to be in these games. Sometimes that's just I talked already a lot about intangibles, but that's just sort of like an energy and an attitude that we've got to learn now as a young program. Like, no longer this kind of like fun, upset bid maybe, but like, what does it take to actually be consistently good? And are we willing to sacrifice and put in the effort that it would take to be that? Yeah, non-conference schedule I think is another year where we're top 10 in the country in non-conference strength of schedule. We start with Salisbury on Saturday. They're I think they're ranked second in the country right now, for what that's worth. So yeah, we want to challenge ourselves. Again, I just think that we're going to keep putting ourselves up against it until we figure out how to be it, and you're not going to know what you're chasing unless you're on the field, chasing it. And so we want to challenge ourselves. I really like the way the schedule's worked out. We've got some really fun non-conference games. We're spending spring break in Jacksonville, Florida, with Roanoke and Eastern. We're playing at the U.S. Lacrosse facility against Conn College. We're playing Salisbury at the Under Armour World Headquarters, where I think we're the first lacrosse game to ever get played in their new stadium there on their kind of headquarters site. So a lot of great challenges. RIT is coming to Grove City, so we have a fairly good record against ranked teams at home, and I think they're third in the country. So we want this to be a tough place to play. We want to be able to defend our home turf, if you will. And when you're a newer program, it's harder to get teams to like want to play you and be excited. But I think we've garnered enough respect that good teams are willing to put themselves out against us, and all the other usual suspects, York and Ohio Wesleyan and Kenyon and John Carroll, a number of other good teams as well. So we're excited about the non-conference schedule for sure. Yeah, for us to get where we want to get, I think it's super cliche, but it's just seeing it in our mind's eye, believing that we deserve to be where we're at, and not just wishing that we can be where we want to be, but actually putting in the work and understanding what's required from a physical perspective, but also just a belief and a confidence and a chemistry perspective. I think our guys are willing to do that. And so to have a successful season, I think it's really, we got to continue to get better at lacrosse, as does everyone. But we've just got to continue to learn to be humble, to say, okay, there are things that we can take from these games and these teams and these programs that are really well established that we can do a better job of, but also to be confident to say we bring something to the table and we have a unique style, we have a unique culture, and we care about each other in a unique way, I think, in the landscape of college lacrosse, and we want to demonstrate that every time we play, and we want people to feel playing us. We want it to feel different. Like, man, those guys, when we walk off the field, to me, success is like, wow, those guys really love each other and they really get after it, regardless of what happened. Like, I want, if it's the first time somebody's ever watched us play, I think that's what we want somebody to walk away with.